أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome everybody to Thursday's class. Jazakumullah for being on time so that we can start promptly. Before we start with our opening dua, I'd just like to say that there will be a short presentation at the beginning of the class, and we very much want parents to be sitting next to their children to watch this presentation. It's as much for the parents, if not more. So we very much want you to be sitting there. So any students who don't have their parents with them, please call them to come and sit down next to you now. Jazakumullah. If I may have a student on the mic for the opening dua, please. Assalamu alaikum. A1195.
Walaikum assalam.
How are you, darling?
Good.
Alhamdulillah. Okay then, sweetheart. So we're nearly at the end of week 10. So inshallah, you'll be able to read this opening dua all by yourself. Yes?
Yes.
Okay then. Don't forget the Dawood and the Tasmiyah. Take your time. Okay? Don't rush it.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي علمني ما هو خير عندك.
MashaAllah. Very nice. And the English translation.
Oh my Lord, teach me what is best for me in your knowledge.
MashaAllah. Very nice. Okay then, sweetheart. Jazakumullah for your time. And inshallah, we'll listen to you again another time. Allah Hafiz for now. Okay, so let's start this class today with a presentation. Okay. So hopefully you've all got your parents or some adults sitting with you. And as the day teacher did announce yesterday, we are going to be starting on the Quran Majid later today. And for the rest of the course, we should, inshallah, be reading Quran Majid every day. Some teaching will still be continuing alongside. But before we actually start off, we wanted to do this presentation just to get you into some good habits. Okay? So today's presentation is on recitation. Okay, if you just bear with me. Okay, just bear with me. Okay, if you just bear with me, let me see if I can access it another way. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. So I've just I had a few issues there. On the screen should be recitation common mistakes.
That's correct.
Okay, fantastic. Jazakumullah. Okay, any problems, please let me know, okay?
Okay, Jazakumullah.
Okay, so let's start again. The presentation is on recitation and common mistakes that many people make when they are reciting. Let me start by first of all saying congratulations. A really big well done. You've attended almost 10 full weeks of class, 5 days a week, an hour every one of those days, and hopefully you've been doing the homework. That's a lot of hours that you've put in. You have learned a lot. Yes.
But I'm unable to see the presentation. At the moment, I can only see the opening dua.
Okay, bear with me.
It was originally there. It's now gone back to the...
Okay, is it playing now?
Yeah, because the congratulations, you have learnt a lot.
Okay, so let me just go back. Okay. Okay. We are having some issues with this thing now. Okay, what's on the screen now?
Making you aware of common mistakes.
Okay, so let me just go back then.
Recitation.
Right, okay.
you want to go forward just to see that it's
Yeah, if you just bear with me, I'm just trying to move something off my screen. Right, let's have another go. Okay, so recitation is on the screen now?
correct.
Okay, fantastic. We'll give it one more shot. If not, we'll have to adjust this and come back to it another day. Okay then, so today's presentation, apologies for the delay, is recitation and common mistakes that people make. Okay, so let me start again by saying congratulations. A really big well done. You've done almost 10 full weeks. You've put in a lot of hours and you have learnt a lot. All of those hours, now you've got to put all of that learning into practice by turning to the Holy Quran and getting to a point where you can recite from it. Now, even though you've done all of that learning, to recite from the Holy Quran will still require a lot of practice. It's an exciting time and you will still need some help to get going, but have no fear. Inshallah, we are here to help you to start this next part of your journey. Okay, so as beginners to Quran, as you read, you will make some mistakes as you read. That's fine. You're beginners. We will show you some really common mistakes that all of us make. Teachers, adults, all of us that we make. In the hope that because you become aware that those mistakes can happen, you will look out for them. This means that you can then correct mistakes. And we will suggest some ways that you can spot those mistakes, correct them, and hopefully with practice, avoid making them in the first place. Okay, so let's go to common mistake number 1 that many people make. We mispronounce a stroke. Let's look at some examples. Take a look at this first word here. Notice the letters, the symbols, and the strokes. The word reads An'amta, and it means you blessed. Now, take a look at this next word here. Again, notice the letters, the symbols, and the strokes. It's almost the same as the first word, except that the ta now has a dhamma on it. This word, which is read An'amtu, means I blessed. One change, the stroke on the ta and the meaning changed. Let's have a look at another example. This word here, notice the letters, the strokes, the symbols. This one, the dhal, has a kasra underneath and it's read as mundhirina, and it means warners. Compare it to this next one here. Again, look, the letters, the symbols, and the strokes. Almost identical to the previous word, except now that the dhal has a fatha on it. Mundharina, and it means warned ones. One change, just one change. The stroke on the dhal went from a kasra to a fatha, and the meaning went from warners to warned ones. This is an easy mistake to make, especially as Arabic isn't your first language. So because you don't really know what it is that you're reading, if you've misread something, you won't even notice that in the whole context of the verse that you're reading, it sounds odd. So as I say, this is a really easy to make mistake. And the thing that we want to point out to you is that when you mispronounce a stroke, it changes the meaning. You have to always be careful to read what is actually there in front of you and use your eyes. Okay, so let's go on and look at a common mistake people make, number 2. And that is when we don't read with the right timing. Again, let's illustrate that with an example. Look at this first word here. Notice the letters, the symbols, the strokes. This word means he said. Qala, qala, he said. Compare it to this next one here. Here, notice the letters, the strokes, and any symbols. There's only one small change, and that is that after the lam, there is an alif madda. So, when we read this word, it will be read as qala. 2 seconds from the alif madda. Qala. And it means they said. 1 second's worth of timing on the la meant that the meaning went from qala, he said, to qala, they said. Another example. This word here. Look at the letters, any symbols, or the strokes. La rayba. It means no doubt. Compare it to this one. Same letters, almost, same strokes, same symbols, but there is no alif madda after the lam. So this one is read as la rayba, and it means sure doubt. In the first word, we had an alif madda, so we stretched the la for 2 seconds to la. In the second one, there was no alif madda, so it was only 1 second, la. La rayba, la rayba. Look at the meaning of the second word. It means sure doubt. 1 second's worth of timing difference, and the meaning not only changed from no doubt to sure doubt, it actually went to the opposite meaning. These are mistakes that people make, and this one in particular is a really common mistake that people make. Many adults make this mistake often, and you just have to be aware that when you read with the wrong timing, you change the meaning. Okay, so let's move on to a mistake that people make, a third one. When we change a sakin letter to a mutaharik. And I'll just remind you that a sakin letter is one that carries a sukoon, and a mutaharik letter is one that carries a stroke. Okay, so again, let's look at the examples. Look at the letters, look at the symbols, look at the strokes. In this first word here, we pronounce it as khalaqna, and it means we created. The qaf is a qaf sakin. Khalaqna. Compare it to this next one here. Same letters, but the qaf is a mutaharik letter. It's no longer a sakin letter. This is pronounced khalaqana, and it means he created us. Changing a sakin qaf to a mutaharik qaf changed the meaning. Let's look at this next example. Darabana. He hit us. Compare it to when the ba becomes a ba sakin. Darabana. And it means we hit. The ba mutaharik changed to a ba sakin, and the meaning changed from he hit us to we hit. Now, this is an often made mistake, but it's not always noticed because the sounds are changed in a subtle way. So you have to be especially careful when it comes to this mistake. You just have to remember that when you read a sakin letter, okay, and you misread it as a mutaharik one, or when you read a mutaharik letter and you misread it as a sakin letter, you change the meaning. Okay, so let's move on to mistake number 4 that people commonly make, and that is not making a difference between similar sounding letters and so pronouncing a different letter. Let's look at this word here. Notice the letters, the symbols, and the strokes. This word, aminun, means blind. It starts with an ayn, so it's aminun. Compare it to this next word, almost the same, except that the first letter is an alif, aminun, and it means trustworthy. One change, the ayn became an alif and the meaning changed. Compare now these next two words. Qalbun, qalbun. It means heart. Compare it to galbun, galbun, which means dog. Changing the qaf to a kaf changed the word completely. This, again, is another commonly made mistake. Arabic isn't your first language, so the sounds of the letters and how they are put together in words does not come naturally. You have to work on this. There's no two ways around it. Practice to get the right sound of the letter, because not making a difference between similar sounding letters and so pronouncing a different letter results in the meaning changing. Okay, support teacher, there's some background noise that's coming through. If you could make sure everybody's on mute, other than myself. Okay, so let's move on. You'll now be able to understand why all the way through this course, the teachers have been saying pronunciation, 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 because saying the wrong letter, you change the meaning. And you can see why the teachers have been saying, watch your timing, because say something longer than you should or shorter than you should results in a change of meaning. Okay, so now we've told you about some of the mistakes that can be made. Let's be positive and see what we can do about this. Well, let's deal with spotting mistakes first. After all, you have to know that you have made a mistake before you can fix it. The best thing that you can do is to read to someone who knows how to read. Listen to their feedback. You can also record yourself on your mobile phone and listen back that way. And you'd be surprised how often you think you've read something properly, but when you listen to yourself on a recording or someone else has listened to you, they'll point out where you've gone wrong. Let's now deal with how to correct mistakes. You might forget how to read something. You may forget to apply a particular rule, and you may not understand why someone is telling you that you've made a mistake. So look up the lesson in your printed notes or in the hard copy of the book that goes with this course, or look them up on your downloaded version. Remind yourself of what you've been taught and then practice. Practice is crucial. You are only going to correct mistakes if you practice. Okay, so let's stay with the positive and let's look at how we can aim to improve our reading as we go along. How are we going to avoid mistakes? Well, this is just going to take time. But one thing that we would suggest is don't aim to finish your first reading of the Holy Quran in super quick time. All you'll do, if you try and do that, is make mistakes along the way. You won't rectify them, you won't correct them, and then they'll become part of your reading. This will become difficult to fix later on. So we suggest taking your time over every single verse, especially when you first start reading. Practice each verse until it is mistake-free. And this is a really sound investment of your time, because you will be putting into place good skills which will lead to good recitation. Putting the time in now will mean that later on you will take less time to learn to read a new verse. Set a certain number of verses to read each day. Remember, some verses are short, others are long, so it won't always be the same number of verses each day. Now at this point I'd like to address parents. It is crucial for parents to understand that holding your child's hand as they start on the next stage is vital. You have to be there for them. And what I will urge you to do is to please sit with your child whilst they are reading. Listen to them as they first read a verse. Help them by pointing out anything they get wrong. If they don't understand something, look up the appropriate lesson in the notes and show them, remind them. They've been taught basically everything that they need to know, and so it should all be there in the notes. Once your child has got their tongue around this sabak, tell them to practice. You don't have to sit there with them when they're practicing. Just make sure that they've actually managed to get the whole of this sabak properly, that they can read it, then they go away and practice. Once they've practiced, set a time for them to come back to you and listen to them again. It might even be 24 hours later. It doesn't have to be on the same day. It depends on how much time you've got. Listen to them again. This is the way to getting your child to become fluent. Take your time over each verse. Okay, so staying with the input that parents are going to make, whatever else you do, don't rush your child through the Quran. Don't think, I've just got to get my child super quick time to the Ameen party at the end. It puts into place a really bad example. They should be taking their time, making sure that they're reading the words correctly and not changing the meanings. Make sure that they spend the right amount of time. Don't rush them. Give them only the amount of sabak that they can cope with. This will start off slow, but as you go along, you'll find that your child will incorporate and implement all the rules that they've been taught, and you'll find that the size of their sabak increases as time goes on. Keep it fun. Don't make it a chore for them. The children at this stage are really enthusiastic, so you should build on that so that they grow in their love for the Holy Quran. And this is a really good way of spending time with your child. It builds a really good bond between yourselves and your children. You might be surprised when you're listening to them and going through the notes with them, just how much you're going to learn yourself as well. So, summing up, in this presentation, we've shown you 4 common mistakes that people make when they're reciting. Those being mispronouncing a stroke, incorrect timing, changing a sakin letter to a mutaharik, and vice versa, and mispronouncing letters. And we've shown how those mistakes, it's important not to make those mistakes, to correct them, because the mistakes lead to changes in meaning. We've also given you some ideas how to spot mistakes. Get someone to listen to you or listen to your own recording. We've given you some ideas as to how to correct your mistakes. Look up the lesson in your notes and practice a lot. And then we've given you some ideas as to how to avoid the mistakes, which is to take your time over every verse and practice every verse till it's mistake-free. Lastly, practice, practice, practice. Remember, practice makes perfect. And in the case of the Holy Quran, you can never do enough practice. Okay, so Jazakumullah for listening to that presentation, and that concludes the presentation. So let me now see if I can go back to the screen. So support teacher, can I just ask the opening dua should be on the screen now?
That's correct, Raji.
Okay, alhamdulillah. Okay then, so now we are going to be moving on to reading from the Holy Quran, and we are going to read, okay, we are slightly behind schedule, but okay. We are going to read chapter 114 from the Holy Quran. Okay, now there's lots of things that are going on this screen, okay. Things here, and things here, okay, and things here, okay. Inshallah, we will have a presentation another time, and we'll explain what those symbols are. But for now, what we are going to do is concentrate on the actual reading of the chapter. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by reciting this surah by myself, I want everybody at home to listen, okay? And then I'll call students to the mic. Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. Okay, so I've taken my time. I haven't rushed through it. And what I'd like to do now is have a student on the mic so that we can go through first verse here.
Assalamu alaikum. N1305 now has the mic.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, darling. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I am also very good. Jazakumullah for asking. Did you enjoy the presentation?
Yes.
Alhamdulillah. And did you understand?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Remember, you can always come back to the recordings of the lessons later on and go over some of the things that have been said. So, sweetheart, so we're going to start now with verse 1, okay? Here, it says 1, okay? This is the first verse of this chapter. So we are going to read this one, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to point out to you some of the things that are going on in this verse, and then I want you to follow with me, okay? Now, the first thing I want you to notice is there is a jazm here, a jazm here, and a jazm here. So they will be joining of those letters to the previous ones. There is a tashdid in these three places. So again, they'll be joining, but they'll also be pressing down on those mushaddad letters. Okay, and then also I want you to notice that this is a ya madda, so we will stretch this sound out for 2 seconds minimum. Okay, so repeat after me, sweetheart, once I've finished. Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
MashaAllah, very nice. The timing was very nice. Your pronunciation was very nice as well. Okay, sweetheart. Jazakumullah for your help. If I may have another student.
Lovely.
Allah Hafiz.
I'm going to go and Baji. The next one has a sibling, so both would be called onto the mic. So that's A1192 at the moment.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, darling. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I am very good. Jazakumullah for asking. Okay, sweetheart. So, you and I will now go through this next verse, which ends right here. Okay, verse number 2. Now, before I get going, I'm going to point out to you a few things. This is a qaf. It's a thick and heavy sound. Okay. Off. This is an alif, okay, which is different to this ayn, okay. So those are the things in terms of pronunciation that I want you to be really careful on, okay. And then I want to point out that here we have a waw madda, okay. This is zamma and this sukoon makes this a waw madda. So the timing of this is going to be for 2 seconds. Then I want to point out to you that there is a tashdid here and a tashdid there. So they will be joining and they will also be pressing down on those particular letters. And then the last thing I want to point out to you, well, the last but one thing, is that this is a noon mushaddad. And there will be ghunna here. Now I'm just going to remind everybody that in lesson 14, which was nasalization, we taught you that ghunna meant a sustained nasal sound. And noon was one of those letters that admitted this nasal sound when it bore the sign of shadda. It was in lesson 14 that we taught you. Okay, so here we have a noon mushaddad. We will have ghunna for 2 seconds there. Okay, and then this here is an alif madda because of the fatha that comes just before. So we're going to stretch the sound for at least 2 seconds here. Okay, you will notice here and here 2 letters that have no symbols on top. Okay, no strokes, no symbols. These are blank letters and we're going to ignore them. Okay, so I will read this particular verse that ends here, and then I would like you to follow with me and try and bear in mind. Okay? Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas.
Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas.
MashaAllah, very nice. Okay, let's just focus on this little bit here. Bi rabbin.
Rabbin.
Okay. Bi rabbin. Well done. Okay. Bi rabbin. Okay. Don't rush through the bar here, okay? This bar mushaddad, don't rush through it. Bi rabbin. MashaAllah, very nice. Bi rabbin nas. Okay, and all of it together. Bi rabbin nas. Well done. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas. MashaAllah, very, very nice. Okay, sweetheart, Jazakallah. If I can now speak to your sister, is it?
It's my brother.
Okay then. Assalamu alaikum, darling.
Walaikum salam.
How are you?
Good, alhamdulillah. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I am also well. Jazakumullah for asking. Okay, so we are going to read this particular verse with yourself, okay? Okay, so the things that you need to notice here, okay, is here and here are letters which have no strokes and no symbols on them. They are blank letters. We won't be reading those. And there is a tashdid on top of this noon. So first of all, they'll be joining with the previous letter. Secondly, we're going to press down on the noon. Thirdly, we are going to do a ghunna sound on the noon mushaddad because a noon mushaddad warrants a ghunna sound. And we are also going to notice that there's an alif madda here. This fatha just before this alif makes this an alif madda. So the timing on this will be for at least 2 seconds. Okay, so I will read this verse and you follow with me, okay, afterwards. Malikin nas.
Malikin nas.
MashaAllah, very, very nice. Jazakumullah, sweetheart. Now stay with me, okay? I want you to go from Bismillah to here, okay? I will lead. Let's read these 3 verses. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas.
Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas.
Well done, mashallah, okay? Just be careful here, okay? Bi rabbin.
Bi rabbin.
Well done, okay? What I'm trying to say to you, sweetheart, is that the ra and the ba join. You press down on the ba and don't rush through it, okay? Bi
برب
Well done. قل أعوذ برب الناس.
قل أعوذ برب الناس
MashaAllah. ملك الناس.
ملك الناس.
MashaAllah. Well done. Jazakumullah, sweetheart. Allah Hafiz for now. If I may have another student.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
And 1295 now has the mic.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, darling. How are you?
I'm alright.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, sweetheart. So we're going to read this next verse here. Okay. And the things I want to point out that you have to pay attention to is vertical fatha here. The timing on this lam will be for 2 seconds. Here and here are 2 letters which are blank letters. We don't read them. Here is a noon mashaddad. They will be joining, they will be pressing down, and there will be ghunna sound. And then here is an alif madda, because there is a fatha just before, so the sound here will be stretched out for at least 2 seconds. Okay, so now we'll read this verse and then you follow. Okay, Ilahin nas.
Sorry, but I already know this surah off by heart.
MashaAllah, well done. So that makes you an excellent student to help teach everybody else, okay? So let's just do this verse, okay? I'll read and then you follow so everybody else can listen to you as well, okay?
Okay.
Ilahin nas.
Ilahin nas.
Okay, well done. Okay, remember, noon mashaddad, any mashaddad letter, there is joining with the previous letter. So you have to join, you have to press down, and then in the case of a noon mashaddad, you do ghunna for 2 seconds. Hin.
Hin.
Well done. Ilahin.
Ilahin.
Well done. Ilahin nas.
Ilahin nas.
Well done. Well done. Okay, then, sweetheart. Jazakumullah for your help. Let's move on to the next student.
Zakala.
Allah Hafiz, darling.
And 1283 now has the mic.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm very good as well. Jazakumullah for asking. Okay, so now we're going to go on to this next verse, which is slightly longer. Okay, the things that I want to notice here is Ra mushaddad. They will be joining with the previous letter and are pressing down on the Ra. We want to rush through it.
Okay.
This alif is a blank alif. It carries no stroke, no symbol, so we don't read it.
Okay.
Okay. Spoon here on the scene. This scene will join with the previous letter.
Okay.
This alif, even though it doesn't carry a symbol and a stroke, because there is a fatha just before, this alif is actually an alif madda. So the timing here will be for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Then we have a blank alif here. We don't read it. We have a lam sakin here. The lam sakin is going to join in with the sin. The alif will get left out.
Okay.
Here we have a noon mushaddad. So they will be joining with the previous letter. They will be pressing down on the mushaddad letter. And because it's a noon mushaddad, there'll be ghunna sound for 2 seconds. And then an alif madda. This fatha just before makes this an alif madda. So this is going to be stretched out for at least 2 seconds.
Okay.
So this is a little bit longer. Let's see if we can get through it in one go first of all, okay?
Okay.
من شر الوسواس الخناس.
من شر الوسواس الخناس.
Well done. Very, very nice, okay? Let's just focus on here, okay? Khon.
Khon.
Well done. For 2 seconds, okay? Khon.
Khon.
Well done. Khonnas.
Khannas.
Well done. So from the beginning. Min sharril waswasil khannas.
Min sharril waswasil khannas.
Okay, well done. Okay, just to point out here and here, this is ril, not ril. Okay, we don't linger on the lam. Okay, sharril. Shar. Well done. Okay, so don't stay on the lam for too long. Okay. Min sharril waswasil khannas.
Min sharril waswasil khannas.
Okay, well done. Remember, khan, 2 seconds, yeah? Khannas.
Khannas.
Well done. Okay, sweetheart, you stay with me, okay? We are going to go back to the beginning and we're going to read from the beginning to here, okay? So repeat after me, okay? Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
قل أعوذ برب الناس.
قل أعوذ برب الناس.
MashaAllah, very nice. Qaf, okay? قل.
قل.
Well done, okay. ملك الناس.
ملك الناس.
Well done. One more time. Just make sure that the timing is right, yeah? ملك الناس.
ملك الناس.
إله الناس.
إله الناس.
Okay, sweetheart, make sure that on your noon mushaddats, yeah, that you do a gunna sound for 2 seconds. إله الناس.
إله الناس.
Okay, sweetheart, again, noon mushaddad, noon gunna, 2 seconds. إله الناس.
إله الناس.
Okay, all right, then, sweetheart, you really do have to work on your noon gunna and the timing, but let's carry on. من شر الوسواس الخناس.
من شر الوسواس الخناس.
Okay, sweetheart. Jazakumullah. Allah Hafiz for now. Inshallah, we'll call you to the mic again another time. If I may have another student, please.
Assalamualaikum. A1232 now has the mic.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, darling. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, I am also well. Jazakumullah asking. Okay, so we're going to read from here, where it's highlighted, to the end of the line, and then we're going to carry on to here. Okay? So we are going to have to move our eyes quite quickly to the beginning of the next line. Okay? So let me point out, first of all, Lam mushaddad means that we are going to join with the previous letter. Okay? We're going to press down on the lam. We're not going to do gunna on the lam. It's just a lam mushaddad. Okay?
Okay.
Here we have a ya with a sukoon and a kasra before. This is a ya madda. This means 2 seconds timing minimum. Okay? Seen with a sukoon means that they'll be joining with the previous letter. Ya with a sukoon with a kasra before means that this is a ya madda. The timing on this will be for 2 seconds.
Okay.
Here, this is a sod. Okay? Thick, heavy sound. Round your mouth as you read it. Don't say a seen. It's a sod.
Sword.
Well done. Wa with a sukoon. Dhamma before. This is a wa madda. There will be a 2 second stretch of the sound. Here, we have a blank alif and a blank lam. no symbols, no strokes. We are not going to read those. And here we have a noon mushaddad, again joining with the previous letter, which will be the ra, pressing down on the noon because it's a tashdeed letter, and then ghunna because it's a noon mushaddad letter. And then this alif here, because of the fatha before it, this is an alif madda, so we're going to stretch the sound for at least 2 seconds. Okay, so that's why I'm going to read the way I'm going to read. So follow with your eyes as I go along, okay? And as I say, we've got to move on to the next line, so you'll have to move your eyes quite quickly, okay? الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس.
الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس.
MashaAllah, very nice reading, sweetheart. Let me just point out, seen, okay? Was, okay? Here, su. Well done. Here, su. Okay, make a difference between su and su. Okay, this is a su, this is a su. Okay, so let's have another go from here, okay? الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس.
الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس.
Well done. Okay, let's just do a little bit at a time now, okay? الذي. Well done. يوسوس. Well done. الذي يوسوس. في صدور. Well done. الذي يوسوس في صدور. Well done. في صدور. الناس. Well done. في, from here, okay? في صدور الناس. Well done. So let's one more time. الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس.
الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس.
MashaAllah, very, very good attempt. This is a little bit tricky because one, we're moving our eyes quite quickly, and then you need a little bit more breath, and then the timing issues come in, okay? So when you're reading and practicing this, make sure that you do 2 seconds worth of timing here, okay? And again, 2 seconds worth of timing here as well, okay?
Okay.
Okay, then Jazakumullah, sweetheart, and Allah Hafiz for now.
Jazakallah.
Allah Hafiz, darling. Another student, please. Assalamu alaikum. May I have another student?
Assalamu alaikum. N1299 now has the mic.
Okay then. Okay then. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Okay. Another student.
N1304.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
How are you, darling?
I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, also good. Okay, sweetheart. So let's move on to this last verse here, okay? Let me point out blank alif here. We don't read this, okay? This is a lam sakin. We are going to join it to the noon, but we're not going to press down on it. It's just a lam sakin. Here we have a noon mushaddad. Again, it will join to the previous letter. We will press down on the noon. We will also do ghunna for 2 seconds on this noon. This is a ta al-marbuta. Here we have a blank alif and a blank lam. Okay, there's no strokes, no symbols on those. We are not going to read those. Noon mushaddad means that we're going to join it to this waw. We are going to press down on the noon. We are going to do gunna sound for 2 seconds. And then this is an alif madda because there is a fatha just before. So at least 2 seconds stretch on that. Okay, so those are the rules that are applying here. Let's have a read. Minal jinnati wan nas.
Minal jinnati wan nas.
MashaAllah, very nice voice there, sweetheart. Just one thing I would say to you, lam with the sukoon, it means that you join it to this noon here, okay? But we don't do null, we don't linger on this lam. It's a normal lam that you just join it, okay? Minal.
Minal.
Well done. So, minal jinnati wan nas.
Minal jinnati wan nas.
Well done, mashallah. One more time on here, okay? Wan nas.
Wan nas.
Mashallah, very nice. One more time with this verse. Minal jinnati wan nas.
Minal jinnati wan nas.
Mashallah, well done. Jazakumullah, sweetheart. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Okay then, so we've now come to the end of our lesson. Hopefully, we've gone through this verse, this chapter, and I've shown you how you've basically been taught all the rules. It's just now a case of applying those rules, okay? And in the presentation, we pointed out common mistakes that people make, and we want you to be aware of them and to look out for them, okay? So, what we're going to do, discipline in charge, if I can have everybody on mute, is now I'm going to give you the homework for today, which is Quran reading. Okay, I want you to this evening recite and practice that particular chapter 114, the very last chapter of the Holy Quran. Pay attention to the pronunciation of the letters, the timing of all the strokes, the timing of all madda, and the gunna of noon mushaddad. Okay, make sure you spend 2 seconds on each of the noon mushaddads. Take your time, okay? It's a well-known surah. Most of you will already know it, but now read it with fresh eyes with all the rules that you've been taught. We chose to use a simple Arabic font. Now, I can't imagine that any household does not have a hard copy of a simple Arabic Quran in their household. But if you're not in possession of a hard copy, go to this website, alislam.org.uk, click on Holy Quran, and then you'll get a drop-down box which will give you lots of options. Choose the simple Arabic font, and then you'll then get a choice of chapters that you can read and go to chapter 114. Okay, and that way you will get to something that looks a bit like this, okay? Okay, so again, I just put the homework up in case you haven't managed to write it all down. And I'd like to now say that there's also some learning recitals that have been made by the National Talimul-Quran and Waqf Department. They've produced a series of teaching aid recitals of the last 10 chapters of part 30. And chapter 114, Surah Al-Nas, is part of those recitals. If you can visit this particular address here, so please take a photo because it's not something you're going to write down very quickly. Visit that particular site and you can see or you can listen to that particular teaching aid. Okay, so if I can now have a student for the end dua, please.
Assalamu alaikum. A1214 has the mic.
Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam, darling. Okay, sweetheart, can you come closer to the mic because we can't hear you?
Okay.
Okay, sweetheart, do you know how to read this dua by yourself?
Yes.
Okay then, so you lead, okay, and we'll all listen.
أعوذ billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma gfirli warhamni bil Qur'anil azim. Oh Allah, have mercy on me through the great Quran.
Excellent.
Waj'alhu li imama wa nuran wa hudan wa rahma.
Well done. And the English translation?
And make it for me the leader, the light, the guidance, and the mercy.
MashaAllah, very, very nice way to end the class. Thank you, sweetheart. Jazakumullah for your time. And Jazakumullah to everybody who's attended the class today. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.